Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with the pregame report between the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. We are expecting a playoff-like atmosphere tonight at Rogers Place, and I'm going to be there. I cannot wait. This is the first game I'm going to this season. It's the first game I've been to since, I think, last February, which was also against the LA Kings. Growing up, it seems like every time I would go to an Oilers game, it seemed like it was always the LA Kings, and I very much look forward to this matchup. A lot of people think it might be a boring game, just with how defensive LA plays and how little they give up. But I have a really good feeling today. I have a really good feeling. I woke up this morning, I was like, I think this is going to be a wild hockey game. I think it's going to not be what anyone expects. It is a full moon tonight. I think the game is going to be absolutely wild. I think it's going to be one of the most exciting games of the year, and I cannot wait. If you enjoy this pregame report, make sure to smash the like button, and if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, considering hitting that subscribe button and hit the little bell so that you're notified of every upload in the future that I make. I try and do Oilers content as often as I can. It's not always every day, even though I try and do it every day, but I appreciate everyone's support nonetheless, so thank you very much. As these pregame reports progress, we know the drill. I'll go through the lineups, and then I'll do my projections, my game day predictions, that I should say, with the numbers and the score predictions. So let me know your players to watch, and let me know your score predictions down in the comments section below as we get ready to for a really, really good hockey game. The Oilers have struggled the last couple of games. Yes, they beat Chicago, and their 5-on-5 metrics were really strong, but when you look at the game with a little bit more context, that first 25, 30 minutes or so was not very good. The Oilers really put it on Chicago in the final 30 minutes, and they came out with the win. Pretty similar to that Pittsburgh Penguins game, but the Oilers were not able to come out with the win in that one. So Edmonton, right from puck drop, they absolutely have to. They have to be ready to go. They cannot give up the first goal, and for the love of God, the goaltending, if they can just get a save within the first 5 or 6 shots that they face, because LA, the other night in Calgary, they had 15 shots on goal against the Flames in the first 7 minutes of the first period. The LA Kings, they like to start quick, they like to get the first goal, and then they like to hold on to that lead, and they are very difficult to play against. They're not like the 1-3-1 trapping LA Kings. LA reminds me a lot of the Florida Panthers from the Stanley Cup final last season against Edmonton, where they are just so aggressive on puck carriers all the time. They smother you, they make your life miserable, and they don't allow you to get any space on the ice, and I fully expect that type of effort again tonight. These are two teams that are battling for position in the Pacific Division, and if the playoffs started today, they would play each other for a 4th straight season. These are two teams that I'm sure do not like each other. There's a lot of animosity there, and we'll see how the game turns out. Let's get into the projected lineups before I do the game date predictions and all that fun stuff. Now, I'm not sure if there's going to be any major changes here. Jeff Skinner was a healthy scratch against the Chicago Blackhawks. I did not agree with that decision. I do expect him to get back into the lineup. I don't know who's going to come out. Connor Brown had a really rough game, but let's talk about it. I should say a rough game against Chicago, but we're going to talk about different players here. Top line, I still project to be Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman. However, I would personally like to see Nugent-Hopkins bumped down to probably the 3rd line. I'd like to see another player elevated, whether that's Jeff Skinner, whether that's Vasily Podkolzin. I'd like to get a different look on that top line. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins just doesn't move the needle for me at 5-on-5. I think he's fine on the power play, and I think the role that he does is fine. I just don't think he's helping McDavid and Hyman produce enough right now. And Connor McDavid, just in general, has also been pretty, I don't know. I wouldn't say he's off, but he's not producing at the level that we expect him to. He's not scoring at the rate that we expect him to. Not sure if there's something going on with McDavid. I don't like to speculate on potential injuries or anything like that. It also could be a situation where McDavid is just, this is just a personal load management thing. Games against Chicago, maybe he's not going to go 120% and risk any type of injury in a game in January when his focus and his goal is winning a Stanley Cup. Zach Hyman, he scored his first goal in 9 games against Chicago, so look for him to have another strong game here. He has 14 goals on the season, and he's really started to turn his game around. He was bumped down to the 3rd line for a little while there. Connor Brown was on the 1st line for a little bit. Connor Brown, though, I mean, I get what Chris Knoblauch was doing. He was rewarding Connor Brown with some ice time with Connor McDavid because of how well he had been playing, but Connor Brown against Chicago had a really tough game. Vasily Podkolzin with Leon Draisaitl and Victor Arvidsson. This has been the most consistent line for the Edmonton Oilers. This line is usually always together. It's very rare that you see Podkolzin or Arvidsson moved up and down this line. It is a very strong line for Edmonton, very strong possession line. They're really good on the puck. They're really good at producing goals, mostly Draisaitl, but Podkolzin and Arvidsson do have a scoring touch. And Podkolzin, he got the game going against Chicago. He got that comeback started, and it was his effort. It was his play that sparked the comeback. Vasily Podkolzin was the player of the game against the Chicago Blackhawks, in my opinion. Real strong effort from him. He had a goal and an assist. He was +2 rating, and without his effort, without his game against Chicago, Edmonton likely loses it. I'd like to see Podkolzin rewarded, maybe with some shifts with McDavid. However, if you do keep him with Draisaitl, that's also okay because of how strong he is away from the puck too. Third line, Matthias Janmark with Adam Henrique and maybe Connor Brown. You know, I'm not saying Connor Brown should be healthy scratched, but with how certain players are treated, like Jeff Skinner, it's like one bad game and he has to sit. Connor Brown had a really, really tough game against Chicago. Did not like his effort, especially before Chicago's third goal. See, a lot of fans were blaming the goaltending. Oh, well, if the goalie made a save, Connor Brown wouldn't have been benched. I don't care. Connor Brown made a bad play in the offensive zone. He didn't play well in the neutral zone, and then he had the giveaway in the defensive zone. There are several plays that happened before that third goal went in. Yes, obviously you want your goalie to make a save, but you can't just blame the goalie when certain players in front of the goalie are making life miserable for that goalie. So Connor Brown, if he's in the lineup tonight, he has to play much, much better, and he also has to score a hat trick so that I can buy a Connor Brown jersey at Rogers Place tonight where I will be, and it's going to be so much fun if he does. I'm going to absolutely lose it if he does. I need to make sure that I wear my hat as well to the game, just in case. You never know, right? Fourth line, Corey Perry, Derek Ryan, Kasperi Kapanen. I do expect maybe Derek Ryan to come out of the lineup. The LA Kings are a fast, heavy team, and I don't think Derek Ryan really fits that type of matchup, but we'll see what Chris Knobloch does with the lineup. As of the recording of this video, no lineup changes have been announced that I am aware of. Obviously, if that changes, keep an eye on the Tony Brar, Bob Stauffer on Twitter or X.com, as they will announce any lineup changes at morning skate. For the defense pairs, we have Matthias Ekholm with Evan Bouchard, Darnell Nurse and Josh Brown, Brett Kulak, Ty Emberson, and Troy Stetcher. Now, Stetcher, I'm not sure if he remains in the lineup here. I don't know if they're going to want Brown in because LA is a bit of a heavier, tougher, rougher team. But I would prefer Stetcher personally just because he can skate. I think you need to be very mobile against the Los Angeles Kings, against their forecheck, and Troy Stetcher is mobile. He may not be the best puck mover or the best puck handler, but he does have wheels, and that is really important against a team like LA. They've got to be able to skate themselves out of trouble, and because LA is going to try and force you. They're going to force you to make plays along the boards. They're going to force you to throw the puck away up the middle of the ice, and they have layers. They will grab it, and they will attack on transition. So I don't know if Josh Brown is going to be in the lineup, so keep an eye out for that one as well. In goal, I fully expect Stuart Skinner to get the start, and I fully expect him to have a bounce-back effort compared to what happened against the Pittsburgh Penguins a few nights ago. Stuart Skinner, of course, for the most part, since November 7th, November 8th, he has been an average to slightly above average goalie when it comes to goals saved above expected. He has been playing much better as of late, still prone to those blow-up games, so we'll see what happens tonight. Now, getting into the game day stats and predictions, the LA Kings, they are currently 24-11-5. They sit third place in the Pacific Division. They do have 2 games in hand on the Edmonton Oilers. Their record in their last 10 is 6-2-2. Their expected goals for at 5-on-5 ranks third in the league, 55.26%. Their power play ranks 29th at 15%. LA, if they can get that power play going, they're going to be an even better team than what they are right now, which is a very elite hockey team. The penalty kill ranks 10th in the league, 81.8%. They score 3.03 goals per game, which ranks 13th. They only give up 2.45 goals against per game, which ranks first in the NHL. They have the best ranked defense and goaltending, and they are very hard to break through. Corsi 4 ranks 5th at 52.79%, and Shots 4 ranks 3rd at 53.57%. Looking over on the Edmonton Oilers side, they're 26-13-3. They are 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. Despite efforts like against Chicago and Pittsburgh, this is still a very, very good hockey club, and I expect them to be at their best tonight. Their expected goals for ranks 4th in the league at 54.91%. Their power play continues to climb. It ranks 8th at 24.8%. Penalty kill ranks 24th, 76.8%. Goals for per game ranks 8th in the league, 3.31 goals per game. Goals against ranks 10th, 2.79 goals against per game. Their Corsi for ranks 3rd, 54.10%, and their shots for percentage ranks 2nd in the NHL, 55.17%. My players to watch personally are Philip Danault and Brett Kulak. Brett Kulak because I think he had a really, really tough game against Chicago and a really bad game against Pittsburgh, and that was coming after what I thought was his best game as an Oiler against the Boston Bruins. If Brett Kulak is going to be at his best, he has to play his best in games like this, where this could be a potential playoff matchup, and we need Brett Kulak to really step it up here. Couple bad games in a row. I do expect Brett Kulak to have a much better effort on the back end for Edmonton. His role is very important for this team. His success allows the rest of the defense group to also have success. He can eat a lot of minutes when he's playing well. Against the Bruins, he had the most ice time of all defensemen, but obviously against Pittsburgh and Chicago, his effort, his giveaways, they're not as good as we're accustomed to. So he's my player to watch. Philip Danault, of course, for the LA Kings. He's one of my favorite players. He's been one of my favorite players since he was with Montreal. He's just one of those defensive centers that I just really like. It must be something to do with French Canadian centers who play strong defense, because I loved Patrice Bergeron as well. That was also one of my favorite players for a very long time. Look for Philip Danault to try and match up against McDavid. I do think he'll try and be that shutdown against Connor's line. So we'll see if Chris Knoblauch allows that to happen. Of course, Knoblauch has home ice advantage. He gets the last change. I would expect him to try and avoid Philip Danault if he can with Connor McDavid's line. And here's my score prediction. Now, I'm going absolutely wild. I mentioned near the beginning of the video, it is a full moon. I think this game is going to be absolutely crazy, and it's going to be so much fun. We're going back to the 80s. We are rolling the clock back to 1982. We're going to go 8-6 Oilers. That is my game day prediction. I would love if this happened. Do I think it really will happen? Probably not. Not with how these two teams play defense and not with how well they've played overall over the past 2 months of the season. But boy, oh boy, I sure would love it. 8-6 is my prediction. Let me know your prediction in the comments section below. Thank you all so much for watching. My post-game reaction is not going to be in my room. It's going to be in my hotel room because, of course, I am in Edmonton tonight. So keep an eye out after the game. Probably about an hour or two after the game, I'll have the post-game reaction up. I cannot wait for the game tonight. If you happen to be at Rogers Place and you happen to see me, make sure to say hi. I'm excited to meet a few of you and say hi, talk some hockey, and have an absolute blast. Your support means the world. I love every single one of you. Make sure you tell someone that you love them before the game tonight. And as always, fight like a kid, fight like Ben. Let's go Oilers. We'll see you soon.